Most men don't realize this. But the reason your life feels stuck right now is because you care too much. Not about the right things, but about things that are slowly destroying you. You care what people think. You care who texts you back. You care about being liked, accepted, validated. And because of that, you overthink everything. You chase people who don't respect you. You replay conversations in your head like a loop you can't escape. Let me be honest with you. That's not weakness. That's a lack of control. And it's costing you your confidence, your focus, and your power. But here's where it gets interesting. The moment you stop caring, not pretending, not faking it, but truly stop caring about things you can't control, something dangerous happens. You become calm. You become focused. You become unshakable. And suddenly, people who ignored you start noticing you. Situations that used to stress you stop affecting you. And the life that felt out of control starts moving in your favor. Sounds crazy, right? But it's real. And in this video, I'm going to show you 7 powerful things that happen when you stop caring, using Stoicism, mental discipline, and emotional control. But listen carefully. Most people will hear this and still go back to their old habits. Don't be one of them. So like this video, subscribe, and comment Stoic Mindset below if you're ready to take control. And stay with me till the end. Because the last shift I'll show you is the one that separates average men from dangerous men. 1. You regain control of your mind. The moment you stop caring, your life changes instantly. Not on the outside first, but inside your mind. Because right now, most men are not lacking opportunity. They are lacking mental strength, emotional control, and self-discipline. Your mind is constantly running. Thinking about what people said. Thinking about what they meant. Thinking about how you're perceived. And all of that noise comes from caring too much. Caring about validation. Caring about opinions. Caring about things you cannot control. But this is exactly what Stoicism warns against. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is the foundation of the Stoic mindset. The moment you stop trying to control everything outside of you, you take control of what actually matters. Your thoughts, your focus, your actions. And that's when your life starts to change instantly. Because now, your mind becomes quiet. Not empty, but focused. You stop overthinking. You stop reacting emotionally. You stop chasing clarity from people who are confused themselves. And instead, you become intentional. This is where self-mastery, mental toughness, and personal growth begin. Because now, you decide what deserves your attention. And that is power. Epictetus said something that most people ignore. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. But most people do the opposite. They focus on everything outside their control, and ignore what's inside. That's why they feel stuck. But when you flip that, when you focus on your discipline, your habits, your mindset, you become unstoppable. Because now, your attention is no longer scattered. It is directed. And focus is power. If this is already changing how you think, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below, Stoic Mindset, if you're ready to build mental strength, emotional control, and self-discipline. And make sure you stay with me till the end of this video, because the next shift will completely change how people see you. Back to the truth. When you stop caring about distractions, you start building discipline. And discipline is what creates results. Not motivation. Not luck. But consistent action. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Think about that. Most of your stress, most of your anxiety, comes from your thoughts, not reality. And those thoughts are fueled by caring too much. But when you detach, When you practice Stoicism, emotional control, and self-discipline, you break that cycle. You stop feeding useless thoughts. You stop reacting to everything. You become calm. And that calmness is dangerous. Because now, you are in control. And when you control your mind, you control your life. That is the real meaning behind. Stop caring and watch your life change instantly. 2. People start respecting you more. The moment you stop caring, your life changes instantly. And one of the first places you'll see it is in how people treat you. Because respect is not something you chase. It's something you embody. But most men lose respect because they care too much about being liked. They want approval. They want validation. They want to be accepted. So they adjust themselves. They say yes when they want to say no. They tolerate disrespect. They stay in situations that drain them. And because of that, they lose power. But when you adopt a true Stoic mindset, everything changes. Because you stop needing approval. You stop caring about what people think. And instead, you start living with standards. This is what builds a high-value man. Not money. Not status. But self-respect, discipline, and emotional control. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." That's powerful. Because the moment you stop caring about how people see you, you become free. Free to act. Free to speak. Free to walk away. And that freedom creates respect. Because now, you are not controlled by opinions. You are guided by principles. And people can feel that. They see that you don't react emotionally. They see that you don't chase validation. They see that you don't tolerate nonsense. And that creates presence. A calm, grounded, masculine mindset built on confidence and self-mastery. But here's the truth most people won't tell you. Respect is not built by what you say. It's built by what you tolerate. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That means, stop explaining yourself. Start living your standards. Because when you stop caring about approval, you start setting boundaries. Real boundaries. You stop over-explaining. You stop over-giving. You stop over-tolerating. And when people cross those boundaries, you don't react emotionally. You adjust your behavior. You pull back your energy. You create distance. You move on if necessary. That's emotional intelligence and self-control. And that's what commands respect. If you're ready to stop chasing approval and start building real respect, like this video, subscribe, and comment below. I respect myself. And make sure you stay with me till the end of this video, because the next point will show you how this transforms your entire life. Back to the truth. Not everyone will like this version of you. Some people will say you've changed. And they're right. You have. You've stopped being easy to control. You've stopped being available for everything. You've stopped caring about things that don't matter. And that makes you powerful. Because now, you are living with intention, with discipline, with focus, with self-mastery. And that's what defines a high-value man with a Stoic mindset. Because in the end, the less you need approval, the more respect you command. And once you respect yourself, you will never settle for less again. 3. You stop chasing and start attracting. The moment you stop caring, your life changes instantly. And one of the most powerful shifts you'll experience is this. You stop chasing and you start attracting. Most men today are stuck in a cycle of chasing. Chasing attention. Chasing validation. Chasing relationships. Chasing success, without first building themselves. And they don't even realize it's destroying them. Because chasing doesn't come from strength. It comes from lack. A lack of confidence. A lack of self-respect. A lack of a strong masculine mindset. When you chase, you're saying, "I need this to feel complete." And the moment you need something that badly, you lose control. You lose your emotional control. You lose your focus. You lose your self-discipline. And people can feel that energy instantly. That's why chasing never works. Because it lowers your value. But the moment you adopt a Stoic mindset, the moment you understand Stoicism, detachment, and self-mastery, everything changes. Because you stop needing outcomes. You stop needing people to respond a certain way. You stop needing validation to feel worthy. And that's when your life changes instantly. Because now, you are no longer chasing. You are choosing. You become selective. You evaluate people. You evaluate opportunities. You protect your time and energy. And that is the mindset of a high-value man. Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well." That is the essence of detachment. Because when you stop trying to force outcomes, you become free. Free from desperation. Free from overthinking. Free from emotional dependence. And that freedom is attractive. Because now your energy is different. You are calm. You are focused. You are grounded. You are no longer reacting. You are operating with mental strength, emotional control, and discipline. And that's what draws people in. Not effort. Not chasing. But presence. Because in a world full of people seeking attention, the man who doesn't need it stands out. This is what Seneca meant when he said, "He who is content with little is truly rich." Because when you don't need much, you cannot be controlled. And when you cannot be controlled, you become powerful. This is how attraction really works. It's not about trying harder. It's about becoming better. When you focus on self-improvement, discipline, mental toughness, personal growth, you naturally elevate your value. And as your value increases, you attract better people, better opportunities, better outcomes. Because now, you are aligned. You are not forcing anything. You are building yourself. And that is the foundation of self-mastery and a success mindset. If this is shifting your perspective, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. I don't chase. And make sure you stay with me till the end of this video, because the next shift is what gives you complete control over your life. Back to the truth. Anything you have to chase is already running away from you. But when you stop caring, when you focus on becoming disciplined, focused, and mentally strong, you don't chase anymore. You attract. And that's when your life truly changes instantly. 4. Your emotions stop controlling you. The moment you stop caring, your life changes instantly. But the most powerful change of all is internal. Because now, your emotions no longer control you. Most people live their entire lives as slaves to their emotions. They react instantly. They get triggered easily. They let their feelings dictate their actions. And because of that, they lack discipline, focus, and consistency. One bad moment ruins their entire day. One opinion destroys their confidence. One rejection breaks their momentum. This is what happens when you lack emotional control and mental strength. But when you adopt a true Stoic mindset, everything changes. Because Stoicism teaches one powerful truth. You are not your emotions. You are the one who observes them. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." That means, if you control your thoughts, you control your emotions. And if you control your emotions, you control your life. This is where self-discipline and mental toughness are built. Because now, you create space between what happens and how you respond. Something triggers you, but you don't react immediately. You pause. You think. You choose. And that pause is power. Because in that moment, you are no longer a slave to your emotions. You are in control. That is self-mastery. Epictetus said. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Most people never understand this. They try to control everything around them, instead of controlling themselves. But when you stop caring about things you cannot control, your emotional reactions weaken. Not disappear, but lose their power. You still feel anger, but you don't explode. You still feel rejection, but you don't collapse. You still feel pressure, but you don't break. You remain steady. And that stability is what makes you dangerous. Because now, you are not predictable. You are not reactive. You are grounded. This is the definition of a strong masculine mindset. Calm under pressure. Focused under stress. Disciplined under challenge. And that's what separates average men from high-value men. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Think about that. Most of your emotional pain comes from your thoughts, not reality. And those thoughts are fueled by caring too much. But when you detach, when you practice Stoicism, emotional intelligence, and self-control, you break that cycle. You stop feeding negative thoughts. You stop reacting impulsively. You become calm. And that calmness gives you clarity. Because when your emotions are under control, your decisions improve. You don't act out of anger. You don't speak out of insecurity. You don't chase out of loneliness. You act with intention. And that leads to better results. Because success is not just about action. It's about consistent, disciplined action. And consistency requires emotional control. If you're ready to build mental strength, emotional control, and a powerful Stoic mindset, like this video, subscribe, and comment below, in control. And stay with me till the end of this video. Because this is where your transformation truly begins. Back to the truth. When your emotions don't control you, you become free. Free from reactions. Free from overthinking. Free from instability. You become focused. And that focus moves your life forward. Because now, you are no longer reacting to life. You are leading it. And that is the true meaning of stop caring and watch your life change instantly. Because when you master your emotions, you master your life. 5. You become fearless. The moment you stop caring, your life changes instantly. But one of the most powerful transformations you'll experience is this. You become fearless. Not reckless. Not careless. But free. Because most of your fears right now don't come from reality. They come from attachment. You're afraid to speak your mind, because you care what people think. You're afraid to walk away, because you care about losing someone. You're afraid to take risks, because you care about failing in front of others. And because of that, you stay stuck. You stay quiet when you should speak. You stay in places you've outgrown. You avoid opportunities that could change your life. This is what happens when you lack a Stoic mindset. You become controlled by fear. But here's the truth. Fear only exists where attachment exists. The more you care about an outcome, the more power it has over you. But the moment you practice Stoicism, detachment, and self-mastery, everything changes. Because you stop needing things to go a certain way. You stop needing approval. You stop needing validation. You stop needing guarantees. And that's when your life changes instantly. Because now, you act without fear. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of your fears are imagined. They live in your mind. But when you develop mental strength and emotional control, you stop feeding those fears. You face them. You move anyway. And that's where confidence is built. Not by avoiding fear, but by acting despite it. This is the foundation of a strong masculine mindset. Because a disciplined man does not wait to feel ready. He acts. He takes risks. He speaks up. He moves forward. Even when it's uncomfortable. That's mental toughness. And mental toughness is what separates average men from high-value men. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That means you don't control outcomes. You control your actions. So why fear something you cannot control? Why hold yourself back for something that hasn't ever happened? This is where self-discipline and focus come in. Because instead of overthinking, you execute. Instead of hesitating, you move. Instead of fearing judgment, you act with purpose. And that's when your life starts to shift. Because fear no longer controls your decisions. You become bold, decisive, unshakable. And people feel that. Because most people are driven by fear. So when they meet someone who isn't, it stands out. That's the energy of a high-value man with a Stoic mindset. Calm, focused, fearless. Not because he feels no fear, but because he doesn't let it control him. If you're ready to become fearless and take control of your life, like this video, subscribe, and comment below, fearless. And make sure you stay with me till the end of this video, because the next shift is what will completely transform your decisions and your future. Back to the truth. When you stop caring about outcomes, you become free to act. And when you act consistently, you build confidence. And when you build confidence, your life changes instantly. That is the power of Stoicism, mental strength, and self-mastery. 6. You start making better decisions. The moment you stop caring, your life changes instantly. But here's where it becomes real. Your decisions improve. And your decisions determine your life. Right now, most people make decisions emotionally. They act based on how they feel, not based on what's right. They stay in relationships because of attachment. They avoid growth because of fear. They choose comfort over discipline. And because of that, they stay stuck. This is what happens when you lack emotional control, self-discipline, and a strong Stoic mindset. But when you stop caring about things that don't matter, you gain clarity. Because now, your mind is not clouded by emotions. It is guided by logic, by principles, by self-mastery. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish." That means, stop making decisions based on how you'll be perceived. Start making decisions based on what's right. Because the moment you stop caring about approval, your life changes instantly. You stop trying to please everyone. You stop avoiding discomfort. You stop delaying your growth. And instead, you act with intention. This is where discipline and focus become your advantage. Because now, you choose long-term growth over short-term comfort. You wake up and do the work, even when you don't feel like it. You walk away from situations that don't serve you. You say no when necessary. And that's what builds a success mindset. Because success is not about talent. It's about decisions. Daily decisions. Small choices. Repeated consistently. And those choices are only possible when you have emotional control and mental toughness. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And your thoughts shape your decisions. So when your thoughts are clear, your decisions improve. And when your decisions improve, your life improves." This is the power of Stoicism and self-improvement. Because instead of reacting emotionally, you respond strategically. You think long-term. You act with discipline. You stay focused on your goals. And that's what separates a high-value man from everyone else. Because most people choose comfort. But disciplined men choose growth. Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." That means, your success is not random. It's built through preparation, through discipline, through consistent, intentional decisions. And that only happens when you are in control of your mind and emotions. If you're ready to take control of your decisions and build a powerful life, like this video, subscribe, and comment below, discipline. And make sure you stay with me till the end of this video, because everything we've covered is about to come together in the final part. Back to the truth. When you stop caring about distractions, you start focusing on what matters. When you stop caring about approval, you start living with purpose. When you stop caring about comfort, you start building discipline. And that's when your life changes instantly. Because now, every decision you make moves you forward. And that is the ultimate power of Stoicism, the Stoic mindset, mental strength, emotional control, and true self-mastery. 7. You finally live for yourself. The moment you stop caring, your life changes instantly. And nothing transforms your life faster than the moment you stop living for everyone else and start living for yourself. Think about it. How much of your energy right now is wasted on people who don't matter? How many hours are spent worrying about what others think, trying to meet expectations that aren't even yours? Most men live like this their entire lives. They bend, they adjust, they compromise, and in doing so, they sacrifice mental strength, emotional control, and self-discipline. They chase approval. They seek validation. They measure their worth based on someone else's standards. And in the process, they lose control over the one thing that truly matters, themselves. This is exactly what the greatest Stoic philosophers warned against. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." And what he meant was clear: don't live to please the world. Live according to your values, your principles, and your inner strength. Epictetus also said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." Stop trying to control the uncontrollable. Stop worrying about what people think, and focus on what is truly in your power, your actions, your mind, and your character. Seneca reminded us, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And that is exactly what happens when you live for others. You waste your life. The moment you stop caring about validation, approval, and the opinions of others, you unlock a freedom few ever experience. Freedom to make decisions without fear. Freedom to prioritize growth, focus, and self-mastery. Freedom to act in alignment with your values. When you live for yourself, your energy changes. You stop chasing outcomes you cannot control. You stop tolerating situations that drain you. You stop saying yes when you really mean no. And the world responds differently. People respect you more, not because you demand it, but because your confidence, mental strength, and emotional control are visible in every action you take. Your presence is magnetic because it is unshakable. You no longer react emotionally to every slight or opinion. You respond intentionally, with clarity, discipline, and focus. This is the power of a Stoic mindset. This is the transformation that happens when you stop caring and take control of your life. Living for yourself also means embracing discomfort. Most men avoid challenges because they care about how failure will look. But a high-value man, guided by Stoic principles, acts anyway. He embraces the discomfort because he knows it leads to growth. He knows that self-discipline, emotional control, and mental toughness are forged in the fires of challenge, not in comfort. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Obstacles are not your enemies. They are opportunities. Opportunities to strengthen your focus, refine your character, and elevate your life. When you stop living for others, you also stop chasing superficial rewards. You stop seeking constant approval. You stop allowing fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of failure, to dictate your choices. And this is where true freedom, confidence, and self-mastery emerge. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you live for yourself, your reactions are deliberate. Your actions are guided by reason, not emotion. Your life is no longer a series of reactive decisions. You become a man of principle, strategy, and discipline. This is where your energy, your presence, and your influence transform. People notice it. Opportunities are drawn to you. Relationships improve, not because you are trying harder, but because you are aligned with yourself. You are operating from mental strength, emotional control, and self-discipline, and that authenticity is magnetic. Living for yourself does not mean ignoring others. It means prioritizing your growth and purpose above fleeting distractions. It means making decisions based on principles, not popularity. It means focusing your attention on what truly matters: personal development, mental toughness, and self-mastery. And here's the truth: when you truly live for yourself, everything else aligns. The distractions fade. The unnecessary stress disappears. The chaos loses its grip. You feel grounded, focused, and unstoppable. If you're ready to stop living for others and finally live for yourself, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. I live for myself. And make sure you stay with me till the end, because the final outro will bind all the principles together and show you exactly how to make these transformations permanent. Now that you've seen all 7 transformations, the moment you stop caring, your life changes instantly. It's time to bring everything together. The truth is simple. When you stop chasing approval, stop fearing outcomes, stop living for others, and focus on self-discipline, emotional control, and mental strength, your life transforms at its core. You gain confidence. You gain freedom. You gain purpose. You attract respect and opportunity without effort. You stop reacting to life and start leading it. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Seneca reminded us, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." When you apply these Stoic principles, stop caring about outcomes you cannot control, stop chasing validation, and start living intentionally, you become unstoppable. Your mind, your emotions, and your life are under your command. You develop the ultimate Stoic mindset, mental strength, emotional control, and self-discipline. So like this video, subscribe, and comment below, Stoic mindset, if you're ready to take full control of your life and watch it change instantly. Remember, this is more than advice, it's a blueprint for transformation. The moment you stop caring, everything changes. Your mind becomes clear, your actions become powerful, and your life becomes unstoppable.